Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's edition of the Sunday Wire. I'm your host, Patrick Henningsen. We are streaming out live at 21stcenturywire.com, also on the alternate current radio as well, and also on Facebook Live, YouTube, Rumble, BitChute, and also on the audio streams. I think we're also going out as well, of course, on X, both of our main accounts on X. So it's great to have you with us again. I'm your host, Patrick Henningsen, and this is episode 552 of this weekly Omnibus News and Analysis radio program, and you probably don't need any hint as to what this program is going to be about. So it happened over the weekend, didn't it? Just like Seymour Hersh said it would. We'll be joined by our teammates after the break. In the Overdrive segment. We'll also be maybe taking some comments from our viewers and listeners as well. We'll be showing some of those on screen and bringing those for discussion. And but you know, we're going to have to start off with the main story at hand. Now, President Trump gave an official statement on this. He was flanked by his cabinet, I guess you could call it, a motley crew. We'll comment on them in a moment. But what happened? Well, I guess Donald Trump's finally done it. Israel's coup against the United States government is complete. Donald Trump launched World War III this weekend. He fired the salvo, the thing that he campaigned on that he wasn't going to do, the thing he used to dupe millions and millions of voters, well-intentioned, honest voters who believed this president when he was campaigning. So I think we can put to rest the LARP that Donald Trump is a peace president, that he wasn't going to start any new wars. I can debunk that from his first term, by the way. He started 2 wars in his first term, and he accelerated 2 others. So he was anything but a peace president, not to mention assassinating one of the future Iranian supreme leader, Qasem Soleimani, which set the stage for this war, and all for Israel. All for Israel. So the title of the program is Israel First. Israel First. Donald Trump starts World War III. The question now remains, how much is this going to accelerate? Where are we heading with this? We'll break down some of the ins and outs of this potential retaliation by the Iranians, what might happen as a result. We'll also show some absolutely ridiculous things by this president. But here's our show graphic today, folks. So you kind of have to be scratching your head at this point, honestly. Really scratching your head at this point, thinking to yourself, what exactly is going on? So Donald Trump puts out things on social media. He's got his own platform. It's called Truth Social, and he calls them truths. But as we've commented before, there are more lies on Truth Social than probably any other social media platform. I think it's pretty insidious that someone would take the name Truth and name their platform after it when that person happens to be a pathological, compulsive liar like this current president that we have, who, let's face it, he is working for a foreign government. So Israel directed Donald Trump to launch a strike against Iran, specifically against 3 of their nuclear facilities. 3 of their nuclear facilities in Natanz, Esfahan, and also Fordo facilities. And lots of claims from the U.S. as to what sort of damage was done, etc. How we can verify any of that is anyone's guess. So let's take a look at some of the coverage we've got up at 21stcenturywire.com. We'll bring that up on screen right now. So this is the headline, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. Donald Trump's unconstitutional war against Iran. It's funny, all this talk about Congress and running Running war decisions through Congress, the constitutional way. That's not happening. That's certainly not happening. But there it is. Puts 40,000 U.S. troops in harm's way. Well, some of those troops are being evacuated as we speak from some of the bases, specifically in Bahrain, where the Fifth Fleet is stationed. Also, Qatar as well. So there may not be 40,000 by the end of this week, probably a lot less. And also heavy equipment's being evacuated. So the U.S. is expecting in a retaliation by the Iranians. The question is when and how hard will they hit? The U.S. bases are within reach, very easily within reach of even medium to short-range Iranian missiles. The bases in Qatar and Bahrain, we're talking about a couple hundred miles. So here we are. There's the U.S. B-2 Spirit stealth bomber. Now, there's a lot of controversy as to whether these bombers were actually used to hit the facilities, or was this all done by Tomahawk missiles from 3 U.S. submarines? That's up for debate. So part of this could be a ruse. This could have been a performative strike. There's no confirmation as to the actual damage. We'll look at the claims by the U.S. We've got some graphics up here of what they say the operation was. Operation Midnight Hammer. Of course, timelines here posted by the DOD. There's no way to actually confirm a lot of this. We have to go by what the U.S. government claims. And we see different statements here from different officials. Of course, this is what the Iranians have to say. Here, the United States, a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, has committed a grave violation of the UN Charter. True. Violated international law. True. And violated the Non-Proliferation Treaty by attacking Iran's peaceful nuclear installations. Now, the U.S. can turn around and say, well, they were doing weapons there. Our intelligence services don't have any evidence of it, but Trump believes they're making weapons. And Netanyahu told Trump they're making weapons. And Mark Levine, the hyperventilating, talentless presenter from Fox News, the annoying pro-Israel Mark Levine, operating as an Israeli asset on U.S. soil, he says they're making nuclear weapons in Iran. So I guess if Netanyahu, Mark Levine, and the Israeli lobby say it's true, then it must be true. But there's more than that going on. There's a coup going on within the U.S. Pentagon, at CENTCOM, as well as in the White House. And we'll show you some evidence to that effect. But we've broken down a very nice report here at 21st Century Wire. This will give you a fantastic overview. So Trump claims he's obliterated Iran's nuclear power program. How much of that is actually true? Nobody knows. It certainly doesn't look like it. We don't have any way to confirm that. Neither does the United States. So let's go and take a closer look also at what Donald Trump put up on his one of his, quote, truths, so-called truths they're called, on his website, Truth Social, and all the kind of, it's a very strange, it has always been a very strange coalition, MAGA, okay, full of Democrats, opportunistic liberals who saw a chance to hitch a ride on the Trump train, and many Zionists as well, many hardcore Zionists. I'll show you one of those as well. These are people who claim to be conservative because they, quote, fight the woke. But when it comes to really important issues like war and peace, like world annihilation, they're not conservative, not at all. These people are neoliberals and neocons. Neocons are basically cross-dressing Trotskyites who are LARPing as conservatives and basically batting for Israel. That's basically what a neocon is, okay? One of those is a guy who supposedly is a comedian, but I haven't found anything worth laughing about, at least not with him, maybe at him occasionally. Dave Rubin. Dave Rubin, who is a surrogate for the Israeli lobby and for Netanyahu. And he tweets out here, and that's a wrap on World War III. Unfollow grifters accordingly. Okay, so this is somebody who claimed to be the vanguard of the conservative movement. Dave Rubin, who is a pro-war LGBT activist. Try to get your head around that. Anyway, This is what Donald Trump put out on Truth Social here. He says, "We have completed a very successful attack on 3 nuclear sites in Iran," obviously capitalized nuclear, very good, including Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. All planes are now outside Iran airspace. A full payload of bombs, that's bombs, all caps, that's BOMBS, bombs. Trump is very strategic about what he puts in all caps, just so you understand. That's not an unhinged mental defect. There's a trust the plan on the caps, okay? Trust the plan. A full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site for Dow. Primary site. Trump definitely didn't write this because he wouldn't say primary site. I've never heard him use that articulate language before. Anyway, all planes are safely on their way home. Hooray, congratulations to our great American warriors. So brave of them. How far away were they when they fired those cruise missiles out of tubes on submarines? Boop, come up to the surface, fire the missiles, go down, submerge, and run away. So great American warriors blowing things up, probably killing a few civilians in the process, and starting World War III. Congratulations. Israel first. There is another military, this is just the bombast. Here we go. There is not another military in the world that could have done this. You can say that again. That's about the most truthful thing that Donald Trump has said during this thing. There's definitely not. There's nobody else that would go on the orders of a small apartheid, genocidal, ethno-nationalist regime in the Middle East, and to get them to order what is supposed to be the world superpower, the United States. That's what I was led to believe. So how could a little apartheid, genocidal, ethno-nationalist settler colonial state in the Middle East, a European settler colonial project, how could they order around the United States if the U.S. is the most powerful country in the world? Anyway, nobody could have done this but America. You're damn right, Trump, on that, especially with you in charge. And here we go, all caps. That means this is important. All caps. Now is the time for peace. So let me get this straight. You got a bomb for peace. Okay. Undeclared war of aggression, and you bomb them, and then you're saying now it's time for peace. Delusional. He forgot to put a space after peace. Obviously, whoever wrote this was very excited. Could have been Dan Scavino. Could have been Donnie Jr. We don't know who actually wrote this. Not sure. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I mean, it's a great corporate ending. Embarrassing is not the word, folks. That's the President of the United States. You know, a low point in American history, a low point in world history. A low point in world history. Unbelievable. So that's nothing. Wait till you see the official statement. Now, I haven't had time to prep for this segment, and again, we'll probably go to break pretty soon to talk to our teammates, Hesher, Ruckus as well. He's going to join us. Now, I haven't had time to prep for this statement, but I did get a hold of the statement. This is the official White House video statement here. I think we'll try to bring this up on screen, but yeah, you got a bomb for peace. You know, now is the time for peace. After you wage an unprovoked, undeclared war of aggression, violation of the UN Charter, straight off the bat, you haven't got a leg to stand on, not domestically or internationally. And then you're saying now is the time for peace. You have no evidence that Iran has a nuclear weapon. Nothing. You just got Trump with his instinct. He thinks Rabbi Shmuley told him Iran's got nukes. Everybody knows. But Trump, Donald, we looked for the nuclear weapons and we couldn't find any for love nor money, said the intelligence community. That's what Tulsi Gabbard said. when she gave her public speech. She's trying to walk it back. Tulsi Gabbard, she's been promised big things in 2028, so she's done a reverse 180 on her intelligence assessment when confronted by reporters on Air Force One, saying, but Donald, this is before the U.S. bombed Iran last night. I think it's embarrassing when you let Caitlin Collins from CNN turn you into a meme. But this is what Trump said. You've probably seen this clip before, but it's worth playing again. He was asked point blank, but the U.S. intelligence community, that's the CIA, the NSA, everybody. They said, the DNI, Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, she said Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons and is not pursuing them, March 20th. Here's Donald Trump reply.
But how close do you personally think that they were to getting one? Because Tulsi Gabbard testified in March that the intelligence community said Iran wasn't building a nuclear weapon.
I don't care what she said. I think they were very close to having it.
I don't care what she said. Rabbi Shmuley told me they've got them. Shmuley said they've got the bomb. Alan Dershowitz told me they got the bomb. Sean Hannity told me they got the bomb. Dennis Prager said they got the bomb. And Benjamin Netanyahu, who is on trial for war crimes, he said they've definitely got the bomb. In fact, Netanyahu is so confident they've got the bomb that he's been saying it every day for 30 years. For 30 years, Benjamin Netanyahu said, they're only 2 weeks away from the bomb. We can't let this evil terrorist regime in Iran get nuclear weapons. Yeah, right after he said that about Saddam Hussein as well. Behind every bad Middle Eastern U.S. foreign policy decision over the last 40 years, you find Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli lobby. Every single time. And now is no different. Now is no different. Just to remind people, if you notice the subtlety. So we're going to show you, this is a still shot from the video we're about to show you is this. It's this scene. That's the White House official statement. As you can see, Donald Trump, all the top people are assembled behind him. You have Pete Hegseth, the tattoo-laden Fox Weekend host who got promoted to be the head of the entire U.S. military-industrial complex, top rank in the Army. I think he was a National Guard reservist from Minnesota. I think he attained the rank of major, but I'm not sure. And his big claim to fame is he worked at Guantanamo Bay, lording over Afghan goat herders, school teachers, and taxi drivers. Well done, Pete Hegseth. And then there's little Marco Rubio hiding behind Trump, trying to keep a low profile, and for good reason. The senator from Florida, who can pretty much say he owes his entire political career to the Israeli lobby and people like Paul Singer, who bankrolled this guy. Zionist billionaires bankrolled Rubio. That's why they selected him and told Donald Trump, that's the Secretary of State. You're going to select him. Thank you. Well done. There's Donald in the middle. And of course, most important, confidant, advisor, the man in the shadows there over Donald Trump's right shoulder. Needs no introduction. We won't go there. And then there's J.D. Vance, the vice president there, looking on, all 42 years of him. He's a little bit young. He's a little bit young, but obviously that's going to make you more easy to manipulate in the swamp when you're young and inexperienced and quite frankly, a bit naive. And could use a few lessons, especially on international politics and geopolitics. There's plenty of people that could give that to him, but as yet we're not sure if he's taking up any advice. But anyway, that's a scene from what we're going to show you. So we'll bring the video up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to pause this periodically because I'm warning you right now, folks. Okay, I am warning you right now. There are more lies packed into 3 minutes than you could possibly imagine. So there you go. Text POTUS at 45470 for updates. from the Trump White House. So yeah, if you want more propaganda, just text 45470 and you'll get Trump right into your text message SMS box. What could be better? You might even get airdrops on some mem coin, some rug pull coming up, crypto scam. Anyway, let's listen to this. I'm going to interrupt this. Every time I hear a lie, I'm going to pause it. I'm going to explain the lie and debunk it, and then we'll move on. So my sincere apologies that this 3-minute clip, I don't mean to torture you, but we have to do it this way. Here they come. Here they come, High Plains drifters. These are alpha males. Trust me, these guys are tough.
Thank you very much. A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities.
Okay, firstly, massive precision strikes. Okay. Reports that we have actually are that the damage incurred by the Iranian sites is nothing near what Washington is claiming. So how do we know if they were precision strikes? We don't. We have to take Donald Trump's word for it. So I have to ask you, would you trust the word of Donald Trump? How much money would you put on it if your life depended on it? We'll leave it there.
In the Iranian regime, Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise.
No one's heard those names for years. What Donald Trump does is he reads off the teleprompter and then he ad-libs in between every 2 to 3 sentences. He'll inject his own sort of, extemporaneous comment. These are names everybody has watched and seen over the years. That's Donald Trump injecting his own, color, if you want to call it that anyway, in there. Most Americans couldn't find Iran on a map, and I guarantee you Donald Trump couldn't find Iran on a map before this year. We go on.
Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and...
Okay, if that's your objective, Donald, you have no idea whether you achieve that or not. Certainly the deep underground facilities at Fordow, the main enrichment site, is well out of range of the conventional munitions which you dropped. So we'll see how that one works out.
A stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror.
Okay, let's just put this one to rest. Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. So this gives you a clue of who wrote this speech, who writes every speech. Anything regarding Iran or Israel comes directly from the lobby. It is placed onto the desk or onto the teleprompter directly of the president. That's how it works in the White House. That's how it works in Washington. I've been told that by multiple people from multiple administrations. So I think that's beyond argument at this point. So where do they get this? Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. It's completely made up. This is a fiction. Okay, think about it. Post 9/11, what was the worst thing in the world? We were told Al-Qaeda, right? Al-Qaeda, Osama bin Laden, Al-Qaeda, right? Who sponsors Al-Qaeda? Well, the Gulf states, Saudi Arabia. Who created Al-Qaeda? Well, the United States Intelligence Agency, the CIA, the National Security Advisor to Jimmy Carter, Zbigniew Brzezinski, and British intelligence MI6 with Saudi intelligence and Pakistani ISI. They created Al-Qaeda, not Iran. And that was the biggest terrorist group in the history of the world. Okay, so I think whoever sponsored or created Al-Qaeda is probably going to rank #1 for global terror sponsorship. Okay, so already the United States is up to at the top of the league tables for state sponsor of terror. What was the next biggest thing from 2014? The thing that we were supposed to be afraid, couldn't go to bed at night without being afraid of what? ISIS. ISIS. Who's sponsoring ISIS? That's interesting. ISIS, that's the group that came out of Camp Bucca in Iraq. Who ran Camp Bucca? The United States did. U.S. military intelligence and the CIA. That's interesting. Who funded ISIS? Qatar, the Gulf states. Right, so we've got Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Two biggest terrorist groups in the world, Al-Qaeda and ISIS. And still no Iran. Still no Iran. In fact, this is going to come as a major shock to especially fake conservatives LARPing as MAGA. Okay, the Charlie Kirks of the world, this might come as a major shock to you. But who was fighting ISIS on the ground from 2014? Iran. Who was leading the fight against ISIS? Qasem Soleimani. Yep. Bashar al-Assad, the Russians, and Hezbollah. So they're fighting the terrorists that the United States is arming, giving shelter and cover to. The same terrorists led by men like Abu Muhammad al-Jilani, a.k.a. Ahmed al-Sharar, the new president of Syria, former deputy head of ISIS, backed by NATO, Turkey, Jordan, Israel, the United States, Qatar, Saudi Arabia chipped in, as did the UAE. They're all backing ISIS. And HTS, Al-Qaeda in Syria. Who's fighting them? Iran. Shiite militias in Iraq. Hashd al-Shabi. The ones that Trump and Mike Pompeo were trying to get listed as a terrorist group and shut down. Interesting. So whoever fights Al-Qaeda and ISIS is labeled a terrorist by the United States government. That's interesting how that works. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, does it? So what does that mean? That means that Donald Trump is lying. But he's telling a lie that is just so often repeated by low IQ automatons like Tom Cotton and other paid-for assets of the Israel lobby. Paid assets. Mike Pompeo, Tom Cotton, Marco Rubio, and the list goes on. That Iran is the #1 sponsor of state terror. Iran isn't sponsoring any terror. And they say, oh, but they're helping Hezbollah. Hezbollah, the one fighting Israel. So automatically labeled a terrorist group. Automatically. So the U.S. and Israel get to decide who's a terrorist group. And that's broadly defined as anybody who is opposing Israel or the United States and their aggression in the Middle East. If you oppose Israel, if you oppose genocide in Gaza, you're a terrorist. Just ask the Palestinians. If you oppose Israel's invasion and occupation illegally in Palestine or in South Lebanon, you're a terrorist. If you oppose Israel's illegal bombing in Syria, you're a terrorist. But guess who doesn't oppose Israel's bombing in Syria? The current Al-Qaeda-led government of al-Jilani, who Trump endorsed and said, very strong, very strong. Those are no longer terrorists. There he is, Abu Donald, the man who saved Jilani in Idlib in 2018. Donald brags about it. So all this talk of terror is absolute 100% balderdash. They're lying to you. But enough people that watch Fox News and Newsmax and other sort of magatards are so stupid that everything I'm telling you, which is factual, is going to go right over their heads. So that's just a start. So the President of the United States is spitting out absolute lies at the beginning of this important speech. So if I've just discredited the opening gambit for Trump here. On the eve of World War III, he's spitting out lies. Then should you believe anything that's said after this? Would you be a little bit, would you be questioning anything this president is saying here? This is just absolute farcical pantomime theater, political theater. Look at these clowns. Look at Pete Hegseth with his red, white, and blue handkerchief in his breast pocket, These guys are ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Let's hear the rest.
Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated.
Okay, all 3 enrichment facilities, according to Trump, have been completely and totally obliterated, including the deep underground facility at Fordow. How would we know? Moabs don't go that deep. Everybody knows that. So physically, it's impossible. They would have had to drop a high-yield nuclear weapon to penetrate that deep, which clearly they haven't. And thank God they haven't. Thank God this madman who can't tell the truth didn't drop a nuclear weapon. For this, we're grateful. A small consolation in the context of things. So he's making claims here. So it's beginning to look like, folks, that this was a kind of a face-saving exercise, a performative military ritual designed to save face because Trump painted himself in a corner, one, from slavishly backing the genocidal war criminal in Tel Aviv, Netanyahu. So Trump's basically painted himself in a corner by not censuring Israel, by aiding and abetting Israel, and literally falling on the coattails of Israel. So Trump had to do something. So if this is the best strike package the U.S. can put together at a week's notice, where they can't really confirm any of the claims that Trump is making here, which are some of them physically impossible just based on the basic logistics, we'll see. So there's no way the United States could confirm everything that Trump's saying because they don't have access to do any sort of damage survey or look at what the results were of this strike. But I digress. Let's listen.
Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace.
The bully of the Middle East. Let me get this straight. This is an interesting one. So how is Iran the bully of the Middle East, Donald? Tell us how that works. Who launched an unprovoked war of aggression against Iran? If they're the bully, then they must have launched it against themselves, right? Because they're the bully of the Middle East. No, Israel did. And then who followed Israel to launch their own unprovoked war of aggression based on zero evidence of nuclear weapons? The United States did. Donald Trump did. So it does appear, at least the latest update of, the bully league tables of the Middle East, it's Israel and the United States. Let's go back a step. Which country in the Middle East, or when I say country, I say that loosely, because obviously a country declares its own borders and usually has a constitution. Israel has neither of those things. Israel is attacking Lebanon. Israel has leveled 100,000 homes in Lebanon, has killed thousands of innocent Lebanese for no reason at all. Israel is in the dock at the International Courts of Justice for genocide. According to the Lancet, British peer-reviewed journal, as of a year ago, 12 months ago, 180,000 Palestinians are dead from direct and indirect results of Israel's carpet bombing of densely populated civilian areas in Gaza. Okay, that's Israel. But we're not done there. Who bombed all the military installations in Syria and then rushed to occupy the Golan Heights and Mount Hermon, Syrian territory? Israel did. Okay, so Israel is bombed and attacked and occupying Lebanon, Syria. Also, obviously, the illegal occupation of Palestinian land. And now they've attacked Iran. So who's the bully of the Middle East, Donald? So again, this is Trump, a meaningless, absolute inversion of reality, okay? I mean, this is like evil. If you think, who has the the front to lie on that level, but they've become so used to it in Washington because, again, Donald Trump's getting his script from these guys, from a couple of gangsters. That's who runs the Trump administration, okay? Donald Trump takes its marching orders from Israel, and then he runs and does photo ops with terrorists. That's the head of al-Qaeda in Syria. Look at Trump. He's giving him a big hug, says what a good-looking young man he is. The fanboying was cringeworthy, but that's what it is. And that's basically what Trump has done in Gaza. He's provided every single bit of ammunition Israel required for a genocide. So who's the bully of the Middle East? Did Iran do any of that? No. No, for their part, Iran fought al-Qaeda and ISIS. Iran spilt more blood fighting ISIS and al-Qaeda than the United States did, a lot more, and certainly more than Israel did. In fact, al-Qaeda and ISIS never attacked Israel. That was an unwritten rule. That should tell you who's behind those terrorist groups. It's a good indication anyway. They hardly ever attacked any American positions. But they did a lot of attacking of Syria and Iran, of course, and other unfortunate Arabs living in the region. But that was always the plan, wasn't it? So we'll bring Trump back. Let's see if we can get through more of this without having to pause because of another lie by this president.
If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier.
So he's saying there's going to be future attacks if Iran doesn't stop its bullying. This is absolute madness. Look at these three clowns behind him with these big serious faces on, looking serious and tough, while the president is spitting out lies like you couldn't believe. So if you don't stop doing the thing that you're not actually doing, we're going to bomb you more. Okay, this is next level Orwellian craziness.
For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel.
Death to America. When they say death to America, and this is another lie. We have to break all this down. When Iran says death to America, they're talking about death to the American imperialist regime that is killing, bombing, and maiming people in the region. For most of the lives of everybody living in that region, the United States has been at it. And Israel has too. Israel's been ethnically cleansing and genociding Arabs ever since day one of the creation of the State of Israel, and in actual fact, even before 1948. If you talk about the Jewish terrorist groups like the Haganah, the Irgun, the Lehi, terrorizing Arabs, driving them out of their villages, displacing them, creating hundreds of thousands of refugees, and sowing the seeds for future conflict, okay? That's why people in the Middle East say, that when they say death to America, they're saying death to this regime that's making their lives a misery and keeping the region unstable, okay? The United States is waging illegal wars in the Middle East, illegally occupying territory. So is Israel. That's the problem. So when they say death to Israel, they're saying death to the Zionist apartheid regime, the one that's in the world courts for genocide. It's not a controversial statement, but it's being translated as, oh, they want to wipe America off the, like Iran can wipe America off the map. Iran has never said they want to wipe Israel and everybody living in it off the map. The one speech that they use for this accusation is from the former Iranian president, Ahmadinejad. It was in Columbia University in New York in 2007. And he didn't say wipe Israel and all of its residents from the face of the earth, but that's what Trump and all of these ne'er-do-wells on Fox keep repeating, because that's what the Israeli lobby tells them to repeat. That's not what he said. He was quoting the Ayatollah from 30 years previously, saying that the Zionist regime needs to go. Not a controversial statement, and one that probably more than half the world would agree with, at least. So, but this is how propaganda works, folks. If you don't know the facts, you might think a lot of this sounds plausible because you've heard it repeated over and over. Who was it? Hitler's propaganda minister Goebbels said, if you want a lie to be believed, you just have to keep repeating it over and over and over again. And this is what these people do, including Donald Trump.
They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs.
Okay, this is another lie out of context. Because the United States invaded and occupied, and this is just so ridiculous, but the fact that they have to use these ridiculous statements out of context, full-blown lies in such an important speech as this, on the precipice of World War III, shows you how bankrupt the U.S. is on their propaganda. They're talking about Iraqi resistance in Iraq. The United States bombed and invaded and occupied the country of Iraq on the basis of fake information about non-existent weapons of mass destruction. And it killed over 1 million Iraqis, okay? Now, imagine if that happened in the United States or Texas. Let's just say Texas. Do you think the Texans would have a right to rise up against the invaders and the occupiers? What if the Texas Minutemen were planting IEDs because of the whatever occupiers, pick a country, China, Russia, Mexico, whatever? Would you call them freedom fighters or would you call them terrorists? Well, of course, the invader and the occupier, the one that's killing 1 million people and bombing the country back into the Stone Age, they would call them terrorists, wouldn't they? It's exactly what Donald Trump's doing. But because those Iraqi resistance fighters, some of whom were trained by the United States, ooh, there's a little bit of history. I could get into it. We'll leave that off to the side for the moment. But because they were getting arms, support, and training from Iran, they're claiming that those Iraqi resistance fighters were Iranian terrorists. So the United States is arming, training Nazis in Ukraine who are carrying out terrorist attacks against Russian servicemen and Russian civilians inside Russia. Backed by NATO, given targeting information, intelligence support by NATO, by the United States, by Donald Trump's own government. So that is, I guess, by this logic, the United States is a state sponsor of Nazi terrorism in Ukraine and also hitting innocent civilians in Russia. So Russia's got kind of a real gripe there. So you leave this context out and you can kind of get away with talking to a low IQ audience in the way that Trump is doing here, but he's lying. He's lying, and it's craven. But I you know what? I kind of don't, in a way, I don't hold it against him. Because everything that I've just told you in the last 10 minutes, Donald Trump doesn't know. No one's ever told him. And quite frankly, if I told him and literally showed him all the receipts, he wouldn't believe me anyway. Because I'm not Sean Hannity. I'm not the Israeli lobby. I'm not Rabbi Shmuley. You know, I'm not Mark Levine. And I'm not Bibi Netanyahu. We'll go on.
That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani.
So that's a lie. That's a lie. Hundreds of thousands in the Middle East were killed by Iranian hate? No. Hundreds of thousands were killed by the United States military. Hundreds of thousands have been killed by the IDF, the Israelis. Hundreds of thousands have been killed by U.S.-backed Takfiri fighters in Syria, trafficked into that country from 2012 till, well, probably still, truth be known. Hundreds of thousands of terrorists backed by the United States during the first Trump administration as well. They kept that support up. Same thing Obama did, same thing Biden did. Okay? Iran didn't do that. In fact, Iran sent special forces into Syria to fight al-Qaeda and ISIS, and they died. They lost men. The United States didn't lose any men fighting ISIS in Syria. Almost nothing. In fact, the U.S. was acting as ISIS's air force in Deir ez-Zor and some of these other places. Interesting. We followed that very closely. We covered it. But again, everything I'm telling you now, Donald Trump has no idea about. This is like well above his kind of capacity to understand. And certainly I don't think anybody around him, certainly not standing here in this picture, knows half or even a fraction of what I'm telling you right now. And if they did, they wouldn't publicly admit it, because that would be admitting culpability of criminal activity and supporting an international terrorist organization, multiple organizations. The United States, Saudi Arabia, and Israel are the world's leading state sponsors of terror, and Qatar. And Qatar. Qatar underwrote the destabilization of Syria. They spent well in excess of $700 billion from 2011 even till the present. Okay? So who's the number one sponsor of state terror? This is just such apt, it's deceitful, but it's kind of ridiculous. It's such a caricature of reality. And the sad thing is, these guys have no idea what they're talking about. They're reading off a bullet point script given to them by IPAC, pure and simple.
I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu.
He wants to congratulate a prime minister who's under indictment from the International Criminal Court for provable war crimes and genocide in the International Courts of Justice. Netanyahu, who will go in the pantheon of the worst people on the planet ever in history. He's got a nice spot etched right next to the greats. I think he's even usurped the likes of Idi Amin and Pol Pot. They're sort of second tier now. Netanyahu's right up there in the top tier with Hitler and the rest. Okay, that's who Trump is congratulating with. And Trump's saying, I'm not going to put up with it anymore. See, he's saying, I'm not going to put up with something that I can't prove ever happened, i.e. Iran's the bully of the Middle East. This is gaslighting, folks. This guy and these guys are gaslighting you. They're trying to blame Iran for everything the United States has done and Israel has done. Because the reality is this: Washington, D.C. is occupied territory. That's the reality. Israel runs the White House. A foreign government runs Capitol Hill. They have total control over our Congress. They dictate our foreign policy. They feed our intelligence with fiction to get us to do things to people who are opposing their own war crimes in the region. That's what Israel does. Okay? It's a little more complicated than that. I could go into the nuance, but that's just a kind of starting position. And Donald Trump's also trying to gaslight to deflect from this, saying that he wanted to turf out the native Palestinian population and build Miami beachfront property, and how great and beautiful that would be. That happened a couple of months ago. I'm never going to forget that. And certainly the people of the region aren't that stupid that they would forget it. But anyway, let's hear what he has to say.
We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades.
Yeah, I haven't seen it since the last major illegal war of aggression by the United States in 2 decades ago, Iraq. Yeah, that's right, Donald. Brave American patriots flying those magnificent machines. This is an unconstitutional act of war. Congress is meant to have debates and vote on war powers. So this is an unconstitutional act. And everybody in the U.S. military, every man and woman in uniform, swears an oath not to protect and follow the orders of the president or the king. No. The oath, including Donald Trump's oath, is they swear to defend and protect the U.S. Constitution of the United States from all enemies, foreign and domestic. So by bypassing Congress, by violating every domestic and international law through executive action, or literally fiat, without even an executive order in some cases, just on a whim, that's unconstitutional. You are, at that point, opposing the U.S. Constitution. You become an enemy, a domestic enemy of the U.S. Constitution. And a foreign government that is dictating U.S. foreign policy, that's paying off congressmen and senators to back these types of illegal actions and to spread propaganda that's generated by that foreign government, having that foreign government's lobby literally submit your speech for you, okay? That is a foreign enemy of the U.S. Constitution. That's what you are sworn to protect and defend the voters of the United States against, the people that voted for you. The ones you promised you wouldn't launch any new wars. You remember that one, Donald? You remember that? And more importantly, the wars that we never start. I remember the inauguration speech. Oh, it sounded wonderful. And probably the guy who wrote it was really talented. He knew what buttons to push. But clearly Donald Trump didn't believe a word of it. So another fake WMD, undeclared war of aggression, no evidence, another WMD scam by Donald Trump, who campaigned on, I was against the Iraq war. It would never have happened if I was president. If I hear that shtick one more time, that is the oldest line, and it's just beyond tired at this point. It's literally, it's a tire tread, that line by Trump. Let's see if we can make it to the end without a lie.
Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so.
I hope there's going to be peace, because my strategy is to bomb the other side and demand an unconditional surrender. And I'm bombing them on the basis of no evidence, but because, well, Rabbi Shmuley told me they had a bomb. So we're going to bomb them, and we expect that there's going to be peace. So bomb for peace. How ridiculous and stupid.
I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raising Cane, spectacular general.
Dan Raising Cane. Dan Raising Cane. You could, honestly, folks, you couldn't make it up. You really couldn't. It's just too much.
And all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days.
How Orwellian is this? This can't continue. So Israel has attacked Iran, unprovoked. Did Iran attack Israel? No. No. Israel started all of the aggression against Iran. And this latest wave was an unprovoked attack. Then the United States followed with an unprovoked attack. And Donald Trump stands there and says, this can't continue. Oh, I agree with you, Donald. On that, we are 100%, you and I are like that. I agree, this can't continue. But who started it? Whose fault is it? Who's driving it? It's you. It is the USA and the true president of the United States, or Donald Trump's boss, if you will, these guys. That's who Trump works for. It's who he takes orders from. Okay. But this can't continue. This terrible, oh my God, this terrible what's happening in Iran. This has to stop. If the Iranians don't stop getting bombed, I'm going to get really mad. And believe me, we've got more weapons. Yes, we've got the best, most beautiful weapons and machines in the world. I can tell you that, says Trump. None of this is coherent. It's beyond ridiculous. It's totally bonkers and insane.
Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill.
So he's saying he's bombed the Iranians, but peace better come quickly. I mean, is it just me? Is anyone else picking this up? This goes right over the head of the magatards, okay? This goes right over the head of D.C. Drano and Charlie Kirk, okay? They just miss the Orwellian newspeak, you know, because they're just so mesmerized by the leader, the dear leader. I mean, are we in North Korea here? And again, that's not a knock on Kim Jong-un, because he's looking pretty good right now compared to this clown. Kim Jong-un is looking like a brilliant statesman next to Donald Trump. But the pomp, the staging, the performative propaganda, it's beyond North Korea now, the United States. It's beyond. Everything he said is the inverse of reality.
Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight.
So he's just bombed them. He's then blamed them for getting bombed. He's saying if they don't make peace, or I mean, what? They haven't hit the United States yet. It seems like, Donald Trump, you're doing everything to evoke a reaction because that's what you want. And now you're threatening to kill all of their political leaders and the people you negotiated with. You see, what Trump did was, and this came out in the Israeli press, there's no running from it. Donald Trump colluded using Steve Witkoff as his Israeli asset. By the way, that's who Steve Witkoff really works for, okay? He answers to the Israeli lobby, not Donald Trump. And I guarantee you they put him in that position, not Trump. Okay, he was okayed, he was shortlisted by the Israeli lobby. Yes. So they lulled the Iranians into complacency through these fake negotiations on the nuclear deal. And during negotiations, right before the 6th round was supposed to happen in Muscat, Oman, Israel attacked Iran. And the Israelis admit, we lulled them, we worked with the Americans to lull them into a sense of complacency, to let down their guard so we could have an effective strike, killing their political leaders. And then Trump goes on to social and brags about the fact that the people we're negotiating with are dead. And they didn't die of COVID, ha, 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 said Donald Trump. I mean, it's disgusting. What kind of a U.S. president, I mean, talk about, you know, bringing disrepute to the office of the U.S. president, but also embarrassing the country on the global stage, but also just robbing the office of any remaining integrity that it might have had up to that point. And now he's continuing to threaten to kill Iranian leaders. He just said that. You want to hear it again? We'll play it again.
Last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight. Not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say, we love you, God, and we love.
My God, we love you, God. What? How can you, after you just launched an illegal war of aggression, you're thanking God? I mean, it's very cynical to use religion and to use the Lord's name in vain to somehow congratulate yourself for launching an undeclared, unprovoked war of aggression, triggering potentially World War III. God, no, I'm sorry. That's going a little bit too far even for this situation. But it doesn't, unfortunately, I wish it ended there, but it kind of gets slightly worse.
Our great military, protect them. God bless the Middle East, God bless Israel, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
So God bless the U.S. military for that, so that they can what? Wage more illegal wars, kill more people in the Middle East. How much damage has the United States done to the Middle East over the last 30 years? Just 30 years. How about Israel? Oh, they're doing a genocide right now. That's right. I somehow don't think God's going to be blessing anybody that's responsible for this. I just kind of have this feeling that that's not really going to happen. It's kind of offensive, quite frankly. It's more than offensive. But that's the kind of ridiculous time we're living in. Some people might go further. They might say this is just pure evil. You know what? When you see scenes like that, and you see the fact that Donald Trump has zero compassion for any of these people, much less the ones that have died in the last 24 hours, all 150 of them, the ones that have been shot waiting for food, shot by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, and all these U.S. mercenaries luring people into kill zones and massacring them, people that are starving, because Israel and the United States have cut off food and water to the people of Palestine and Gaza. And you're invoking God. Okay. We'll see how that goes.
Thank you.
What a bunch of Muppets. Bunch of evil Muppets. These guys don't have a moral leg to stand on. They really don't. You know, it's one thing to launch illegal wars. It's another thing to launch them after promising the world and getting people to actually vote for you on the basis that you're going to be the peace president, you're going to not launch any wars and so forth. It's one thing to do that. It's another thing to not even bother to try to fake it properly. I mean, I'll give Colin Powell his due. He at least put the effort into putting the talcum powder into the vial when he went to the UN and got some artists to render these fake mobile anthrax labs, which they called Winnebagos of Death, literally cartoonish stuff that probably the Israelis supplied that to them, I would imagine. But at least they went through the effort of trying to fake it, you know. You almost have to respect that. A little bit of effort. I mean, yes, it was easy to debunk at the time for some of us. Not for the neocons, of course. They loved it. Much like MAGA's loving this. Did you notice how all the MAGAs, a lot of them say, no new wars. Oh, it's none of our business. We don't want our boys dying. And then all of a sudden, when Donald Trump announces they're going in full steam, they're like, yes, get those mullahs. Right? All these same people. Means they weren't really anti-war to begin with. They were just pro-Trump. That's what it's sort of beginning to look like that. Now, there are some genuine MAGAs that are opposing this. They're breaking off from Trump on this, don't like the fact that the United States is occupied by the Israeli government, that Israel's running our foreign policy, who bought and paid for this president and handpicked and paid for every single member of his cabinet. Okay, there's a lot of people, genuine MAGAs, the type of people that went out on a limb to support Trump in 2016. And they've been true to their position. Still, you can see them. There's a few of them online. And more are coming to that side because people are realizing what an absolute fraud this is. What an absolute fraud. But, you know, they're not even bothering to fake it. They just think, oh, we're just going to go and do this. And, you know, this is like Karl Rove style, Dick Cheney style, more bombastic. Because at least Bush and the neocons tried to fake it. Again, you almost have to respect the fact they put the effort in. Trump doesn't even feel he needs to. The chutzpah. But that's because this isn't America first. This is Israel first. This is a coup d'etat. And we'll show you evidence of that, an actual coup at CENTCOM. Israel's running our CENTCOM. They bypassed the president. They bypassed Congress. But it's not the first time. They've been doing this for over 20 years. We'll show you receipts for that later on. Let's take a break right now. This is the Sunday Wire. I went way over time on that monologue. I apologize to our guests. They've been waiting in the wings. But, you know, it takes an hour to go through a 5-minute Trump speech. That's how dense and thick the lies were packed into that. But you know what? Sometimes it's got to be done. Sometimes it's got to be done. This is the Sunday Wire, episode 552. I'm Patrick Henningsen, your host. We will be right back after this short break and the music from our good friends, Red Rumble.
For in the final analysis, we all inhabit this small planet, and we are all mortal.
Lately I've been watching the world gone mad. Brothers and sisters full to take a stand, to hate their fellow man, another man. Divide and conquer is the acronym plan. Distract the people, control the story. Don't believe your lying eyes, you know me. Stay in power no matter what. Play with the doomsday clock. Turn a blind eye and gather your trust. Pushing us to turn to good. Corruption and lies. Truth is the crime, will turn to gold. Well-designed misery to keep you on edge, make you believe anything anyone says. Keep it left or right, not top to bottom. Accuse the victim, can't you see we got 'em? Stay in power no matter what. Playing with the doomsday clock. Turn a blind eye and gather your trust. Pushing us to turn to good. With captured rights, feudals like time will turn to dust. To dust. Industrialized brutality, commercialized cruelty. People as commodity, cheer on war and atrocity. No accountability, perpetual impunity. Always have an enemy, the hell of all humanity. Stay in power no matter what. Play with the doomsday clock. Turn a blind eye and gather your trust. Pushing us to turn to good. Stay in power
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I'm Patrick Henningsen, your host. This is the Sunday Wire. We are streaming out live on X, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook Live, also on BitChute Live, as well as on the audio streams after the program. This is episode 552 of this weekly omnibus news and analysis radio program. Again, brought to you here at 21stcenturywire.com. Hello to everybody in the chat, and alternatecurrentradio.com. See the chat room there. We've got a lot of comments coming in, quite a few, in fact. I see over 1,000 comments filing in through Rumble and also YouTube and another platform as well. We'll get to some of those comments in a moment, but that's the theme of the program, folks. We're talking about what happened over the weekend. Donald Trump launches World War III, the beginnings of it anyway. So we're calling this Israel First. Mission accomplished. There's the cabinet, as you can see, special advisor over the back of Donald Trump's right shoulder there. We'll get into that in a moment, but that's sort of the shape of things at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. So that's what we're up to. This is what's happening. I want to bring onto the stage a couple of my colleagues. I have to apologize profusely to them because that monologue just went way, way over time. So let me bring them up right now. This is Bryan McClain, a.k.a. Hesher, host of the Boiler Room on ACR. Also here is Adam Clark, a.k.a. Ruckus, host of the Daily Ruckus, the creative genius behind all the visual and graphic imagery and psychedelic madness at ACR. Great to have you guys with us. I wish we weren't covering this, and we knew it was coming. We just didn't know when. We didn't know to what degree. We didn't know how bombastic and ridiculous the justifications and the post-game commentary from the White House was going to be, but they don't disappoint. They don't disappoint. What can I say? Guys, I've said all that needs to be said, really, and if it takes an hour to break down a 5-minute speech by the president, that's not good. That's not good. So let me go around the horn here, just going clockwise. Hesher, welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks for having me. And here we are. Maybe we always knew we would end up here this day having this conversation. I kind of feel like once took me a few years. I was a little slow on the pickup, but I feel like once I sort of gathered the context for what happened on 9/11, well, this was sort of the end of that roadmap. So no surprises that it's happened, but how it's happened has been full of surprises. No polarizing event this time, Pat. I mean, some would say October 7 was the polarizing event, or some of these other minor strikes, but no, no polarizing event. Just roll out the old Iraq war propaganda. Use the exact same stuff that they pulled the wool over everybody's eyes with back then. Do it again and get the bombing going as expediently as possible. Don't even need, they're prepping us. We're like, the normies out there, or the mainstream podcast enjoyers out there are being tenderized right now like meat. They're being like slowly tapped with the metal hammer of the CIA that is Sarah Adams and Liz Wheeler and Sean Ryan and all these other people that are out there basically mainstreaming the concept of a false flag, but they don't want you to know it's the false flag part, right? So who is your target audience? That's what I've been trying to figure out. Like, is it people 75 years old and above? Are you trying to prepare the larger, more intelligent part of the population for a actual false flag event that you're going to repackage yet again with the same old tactics? I mean, that's pretty much what people with a brain are thinking right now. So here we are. We're at the final nation. Who also would have thunk Syria would fall the way that it fell? That's not how we imagined that after the years of propaganda and, little poor Omran who had to be called the Dusty Boy, and the White Helmet saga and all this stuff that we were able to, with some precision and some persistence, to pick apart and lay bare for what it is, which is a grift, which is psyops, to cover up mass murder and just mass destabilization and lying to the whole world, creating a fake narrative around the entirety of the Middle East situation for the whole world. And how many people have already had to die over this? And they're just going to go ahead and do it without even giving us our false flag first. How rude.
Exactly. I mean, I really feel almost insulted. You said something, though, about, who is the target audience over the age of what? I actually tweeted that out, Hesher, yesterday here. We'll see if we can all see this on screen. Hold on for a minute. Let me get the Red Hat Brigade out and bring this up. And so this is my question. Why are a few old men so desperate to start World War III? Fair question. Fair question. What is it with boomers? Have they just don't want the next generation to enjoy anything? They're wrecking the economy. They're trying to blow up the planet. What's wrong with these people? I mean, I hate to sound like Greta Thunberg here, but I see a really disturbing pattern of sort of unhinged boomers that are just literally almost, just gleefully in a sort of ghoulish way, almost excited about World War III, and even using nuclear weapons. I find it to be somewhat insane, disturbing. Here's a comment here by Lawrence Borstein here. Donald Trump, 79. That's catching up to Sleepy Joe. Entered office even older than Biden was at his inauguration. He will be the oldest president ever when he leaves office, if he does leave on time. So there we go. That's yes. He's going. I don't know what he says here. WAIS stroke -4 IQ for Trump's age group is 79. Remaining life expectancy 8.64 years old. Okay, fine. Fair question, guys. Ruckus. I mean, I don't want to sound, like a bleeding heart liberal here, but I look at Trump, I look at Netanyahu, I look at Biden, and I'm thinking, what's wrong with these people?
They're all attached at the hip like some sort of human centipede. That's what's wrong with them, Patrick. They're no different. You're listing all these people. I'm like, sure, they may look different on the outside, but on the inside, they are all the exact same creature. Can we go back to dancing Trump? I mean, I think he's getting to that age already where we're going to stop seeing him doing the dance. I've been watching his body language lately, and he's got his shoulders are humped. He's got his arms down, and he just looks, and he's just like he barely moves, and he's got like his little T-Rex arms flipping around on the sides occasionally, and I'm just like, he doesn't even look animated anymore. Is this fake Trump? Maybe this is what the fake Trump looks like, because we had the fake Bidens during the previous administration. Maybe that's the fake Trump. Who knows?
Over your left-hand shoulder, I see. The face looks familiar. The face looks familiar, but I can't put a finger on it. It looks like somebody that I know, but then unless it's a transvestite.
Well, it's a special thing that I got. See, I have bad news for everybody. I have been shipped out to foreign lands to against my free will to be a war correspondent for the new war, which the United States has entered, according to all the headlines in New York Times. I think we don't need congressional approval anymore. All we need is the media to tell us we're at war and it's official. So in case you missed it, yes, even though it's not officially been reported, the White House doesn't say, yes, we're at war. The media is saying it already immediately. But I've been drafted, and I wanted to remind myself what I'm fighting for at home, because during World War II, the soldiers would put up their pinup girl photos, right? So this is my pinup photo girl for the war with Iran on behalf of Israel. And in case the face looks familiar, here, I'll do a zoom in for you.
I know who that is. That's Miss South Carolina.
There you go. You nailed it. So yeah,
Miss
that
South
just got to
Carolina.
remind myself who we're fighting for. I have other pictures on the other side. You can't see it. That of Benjamin Netanyahu wearing a bikini. I didn't want to offend anybody, but yeah, just got to remind ourselves what this is all about and who and what we're really fighting for. So he had a very, very good night the other night, Saturday evening, when Trump made the announcement. He was a very, very happy man, if you know what I mean.
I'm going to stop you right there. You
right.
just misgendered. You just misgendered them, they, them. Lindsey Graham.
But a Saturday night, Patrick, what a time and a way to let this happen. Like, it didn't just ruin everybody's night. I mean, I wonder how many bars across America, right here in my state of Texas, I wonder how many of them are like, stop everything you're doing. We're tuning in to see the president. He's making a big speech. It's a big deal. We're going to war. This is it, everybody. And everybody stops their partying and they're drinking and they're sportsing and doing whatever they're doing for that. What was it? Barely 3 minutes worth. I mean, that was quicker than what happened to this guy after he heard the news, if you know what I mean.
Anyway, I just want to say thank you for your service, Ruckus, for going and, fighting for Israel. That's very, I'm not going to say America first, Israel first, isn't it? So, sorry. Anyway, go out there and, show those Iranians that we.
Well, I'm just covering the news, but I am participating in the war, the information war. So I have to write pro-Israeli propaganda, and it's not difficult, to be completely honest. I just copy and paste everything that everybody's already saying.
I know. I follow Bill Ackman's Twitter account, so I know that you're going to basically say the same thing. So it's
I'll put a big red flashing sign and use all caps, and we'll be okay. Yep.
Yeah, that's the thing, is the caps. And again, Trump's very strategic how he puts all caps. There's a code in there, and if obviously for the QAnon crowd, they can work out the numerology behind all that.
Can you imagine their math this week for the QAnon Trust the Plan crowd?
Oh, yes.
They may have had to tune out for a couple days or something here.
We should give a prize out for the best workaround on this. Give me a Q workaround, Ruckus. What would the Q crumb be on after Trump launches this unprovoked war in Iran?
It's wag the dog. It's all fake. He didn't really drop any bombs. It's just for show. I can't figure out why. Well, I
know what it is. I know what
man.
it is. You need help on this. I'll give you a couple. I'll give you a couple of mulligans. Trump didn't drop any bombs. What he did was he dropped basically water balloons, and that was to fool the deep state, to make the deep state think he was dropping bombs, in order to keep the deep state on him, because on Monday there's 100,000 sealed indictments, and he's going to round up all the pedophiles. He's going to release the Epstein files and the 9/11 and the JFK files. And it's the DOJ. Dan Bongino is going to be like cleaning house on Monday. So this was all just a distraction to make the deep state think that Trump was doing their bidding, when in fact he's going to take them all down on Monday. How does that sound?
That's pretty good. I like that one. We could also go with, they've been using that one for quite a while, right? So they're already all supposed to be locked up, right? So the real Hillary, the real Tom Hanks, all those people, they've actually been spirited away to various caves where they've been imprisoned in Iran and in Gaza for the last 8 years. And Trump is now just bombing those people. They're having their summary executions now. So he's actually going to come out and say, yep, all the pedophiles and the frazzle drip drinkers and the adrenochrome people and the Pizzagate people, they're all gone. We just nuked them all. Haha. Suck it, deep state. How about that?
Yeah, he's really working with the Iranians to take down the international pedophile network there. He's liquidated all the worst transgressors, of course, and then they may appear in Hollywood blockbusters, this year, but that's not them. Those are lookalikes and doubles, or AI and CGI. So, Trump's got it all under control. That's the main thing for the QAnon people. We want to calm them down and just let them know that trust the plan everything's going to be fine. And yeah, don't worry. It's all coming out on Monday, you know, literally sealed indictments, Epstein list. I mean, what'd you guys think of the Today's Show graphic?
Oh, I love it. I love it.
It's like,
I was like, it took me a minute to notice it there for a minute. I was like, wait a minute, I don't remember seeing J.D. Vance there.
Oh yeah, that's it's basically what it is. Mission accomplished.
How did they manage to do the thing with Marco, little Marco? Did they have him standing on a little podium back there? I mean, they managed to make him look relatively the same height as even Hegseth. I was shocked. How did they do that?
He's on his shine box, man.
No, he's not. He's just wearing. He's borrowed Ron DeSantis's lifts, so he's not actually standing on a box. Those are just heels, flamenco heels. But that's all in character because he is a Latin fella at the end of the day. So that's what it is, folks. So
it's nice to see that Jeffrey's been getting some sun lately. He clearly has the suntan out of the bunch.
Must be nice having multiple islands.
Wetness protection program somewhere, probably New Zealand or something like that. Usually where they send the Skripals and Epstein. Paraguay, I think. Ken Lay's got a ranch.
On Diddy's bungalow right now. He'll be there soon.
Yeah, right. Diddy. Where is Diddy, by the way? Is he still in the trial right now?
He's in court. Yeah, he's in trial. And it's just every time I take a peek in there, I can't dive into that rabbit hole. It's so gross. It's just like they only focus on the sex stuff and nothing of interest. It's like same with Epstein. You know, if you remove all the creepy sex stuff, there's still a lot there, and that's, you know, I guess that's the Overton window shift on those two guys, right? Like, same with like Harvey Weinstein, who actually, as it turns out, probably should not be in prison. But those other two, it's like, yeah, just creepy sex stuff, man. And I don't need that in my world. I've got enough doom and gloom in my feed to totally dive into Diddy's thing. Megyn Kelly's been covering it. She's been ignoring a lot of this other stuff that she's cheerleaded for so that she can, it's very fortunate for her because she can focus on Diddy and, you know, some weird football coach's too young girlfriend and stuff like that. You know, there's this new like constant drip feed of like Johnny Depp, Amber Heard style stuff for political.
Glenn Beck does a lot of that, wastes a lot of time on that stuff. It's a good distraction, isn't it, from like the important stuff?
It's fun too, and for me, it's like I want to do it a little bit too because I can actually reach out into some of those other areas and, you know, talk about the financial aspects and the relationship aspects and the lack of victims or victims that were there one day and not there another day, people that were paid off, you know, those kind of things I find interesting. But, you know, everybody else just wants to be creeped out by the wacky sex stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I like the field tents. Your guys' field tent look there. This is good. This is a good look.
We're at war, man. So, you know, we're in the bunkers.
Yeah, this is a good look. Now I'm going to show you guys, you know, leave it to Donald Trump to make a perfect meme out of yourself. And you know that meme when the sunglasses go on and it's Snoop Doggy Dogg and the joint shows up?
Thug life.
Yeah, whoever the reporter is on this, if they had the camera on him, I'd be giving him one of those Snoop Dogg treatments. Because Trump just basically set himself up to be the feature of his own amazing meme. I mean, I can't believe this guy. Let's bring this up. You guys have probably seen this, but we're going to show you. So he's asked point blank once again about Tulsi Gabbard. His own DNI said Iran doesn't have nukes, and once again, Trump sort of kicks her under the bus. But this is it's too perfect. The timing of it. It's almost like they rehearsed it.
So you have that Iran is building a nuclear weapon. Your intelligence community has said they have no evidence that they are at this point.
Well, then my intelligence community is wrong. Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong.
Oh my gosh. Honestly,
I love
you know what's worse than this? I'll go to you guys on this, but what's worse is that Tulsi doubled down on this and blamed the media for misinterpreting her comments. I mean, she said it right on camera. Iran doesn't have the bomb and is not pursuing it. There's no more context required. But she did because it was damage control. They're so paranoid about all not having complete unanimity on statements, and Trump just will not tolerate any even slight variation. So this is like worse than, I'm telling you, Kim Jong-un is running a liberal progressive government in North Korea compared to this. This is like, Stalin level sort of stuff. I mean, it is kind of ridiculous. If you saw the Avengers there when I was in the first segment, all standing up there, of course, minus Jeff, who's the real power behind the throne.
See, I have a fun question. What importance is the Director of National Intelligence in a perfect world? Just being deadly serious here.
Okay, I'll explain to you. The DNI was not a real position. It was added, like so many other stupid things in our government, after 9/11. So I think it was 2002 or 2004. They added another layer. So the DNI is supposed to curate all of the intelligence briefings from the NSA, from the CIA, from the DHS, from, I guess military, maybe Pentagon intelligence as well, and then like fuse that together and then brief the president on what are to prioritize the top threats. That's the Director of National Intelligence. So it's more of an administrative job, and but her power is in the curation of and ordering the priorities in terms of what's the biggest potential threat, what the government needs to pay the most attention to, what the president needs to pay attention to. That's the job. It's almost like a type of intelligence liaison for the president is what it is, and so that's her job. And so
if she's wrong in her job, why does she still have her job? If the president, I'm just saying, like, to somebody who doesn't even know to go that far of a level, and they think that she's really truly that important. Oh my God, the head of the person who's supposed to know all of the things in order to keep the country safe and feed it to the president, she's wrong. And the president's just like, yeah, she's wrong. We're okay with that. Like, none of this stuff makes any sense. We're okay with literally entering war and allowing headlines to go on and say that we've entered war without the necessary, every school child pretty much, I thought, knew this. You need congressional. There's so many on the face basic things that like everybody's ignoring. And I don't understand how and why we're here. It makes zero sense to me whatsoever.
Well, you're a good point, Ruckus, and she should resign, because it's as simple as this, that if the president basically is undermining you as the DNI, it means that if you stay in the job, it means that, well, first of all, your office is compromised at that point. And if you then continue and you don't publicly push back, then technically you're in violation of your oath. You're in violation, especially when there's a war involved directly to her assessment, directly connected to this Iran war. She's in violation of her oath, because she should defer to the constitutional position if her credibility is being challenged, or her office, or the assessment, and the president is acting extra, constitutionally outside of the constitutional process, she should at least resign. And her resignation would then speak volumes. She doesn't even need to make a statement about why she resigned, just resign. But if she came and went public, she could prevent the war from happening. If indeed she is the same Tulsi Gabbard, that she accumulated all of this support from all these different people, Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, that saw her because she framed herself as an anti-war, voice of reason, patriot, all this other stuff. And clearly she's not, because if she was, she wouldn't be doing what she's doing now, which is basically undermining herself with her tweets to make it look like she's not disagreeing with the president, when the president threw her under the bus twice in a week. I mean, come on. So I'm looking at this, guys, and we spoke about this on the Midweek Wire with Freddie and Arno, the French attack group. We said that basically it's completely untenable unless she was promised something in 2028. What do you think? Just like Mike Pompeo was promised something, which never was delivered to him. He was meant to be on someone's ticket in 2024. That's why he tore up the JCPOA. That's why he started all those wars and got up to no good when he was Secretary of State. And the lobby basically put him on the sidelines. Atlantic Council, Fox News, Ozempic. And yeah, I know he's Mike Pompeo is the first person I've seen on Ozempic that looks way worse after taking it than he did before. So, I mean, having lost the weight, it's crazy looking at that guy. I mean, but anyway, I hope he's all right. He's not particularly a nice guy. Anyway, we're still compassionate. But you know what I mean, guys, with Tulsi, do you see her as a ruthless careerist? What do you think?
I don't know, man. I can see why all the people around him are obsessed with their persona narrative and their PR machinery, because like I've been saying for a couple of years now, they've all been tightly attached to some sort of PR person or agency or something. There's someone rebranding a lot of these people, rebranded them to bring them here. So they've put a lot of time and effort into that rebrand, and to have something like this come along and, destroy the credibility that had been built for some of these people must be personally and in a career way devastating. But, we the people don't actually give a flying, about that, because we just don't want to go to war. So there's that. So I can kind of see where the pearl clutching comes from when it comes to their own little personal stories. But Tulsi's really in it right now. She's really stepped in it. And to say that she was like misquoted and all that, like, these things are written down in documents. They're written down in government documents. You can read it with White House letterhead on it. It's like, it's there.
She put it out.
Yeah.
She put it out.
She signed it. I mean,
it's very low character on her part, and I don't trust her. I would not trust her, and definitely I would never vote for her as president. But I don't know what party. What party is she going to run for?
She'll go for any party. She's done both parties now, and she's done both their bidding. Well, once she got the attention of the, higher levels of lobbyists in DC, then, that's when all the rebranding started. That's when she went independent. That's when she started a YouTube channel. That's when she's changed her position on Second Amendment issues and started running around with AR-15s and cameras behind her. Like, who do you think you're kidding here, lady? I mean, we give you the grace to have a change of heart. But if you truly had a change of heart and came around to a more constitutional outlook, what is going on right now? We don't understand what you're supporting here. But, I think that the big thing here for you out there watching is you shouldn't listen to these three guys here. You shouldn't listen to guys who've taken, logic and philosophy and political science and, done 10 years of breaking down propaganda while at the same time doing journalism and broadcasting. Like, you shouldn't listen to us. We're people that are looking for actual truth and context. And you now live in a post-truth world. That's a term you'll see more and more these days. We first saw it on Odd Man Out's podcast, I believe. It's part of the tagline for his show. That is the context in the world they want us to live in right now, where it's a your truth thing. It's a my truth thing. That's why the confirmation bias and the cybernetic feedback loops are the way that they are, because you can have your own truth. Bibi can have his own truth. Trump can have his own truth. We can have our own truth. But the bombs shall drop anyways. The beatings shall continue until Trump gets his deal, whatever he thinks that is. And we'll never know what the deals actually are. The rebranding of all these people and the bringing in of them into his cabinet, and just the open bringing in of all the tech bros to his cabinet, basically, shows you that this is not representative. This is not a representative government at all. They're not telling us what the deals are going on in the background, who benefits from them, and if they're constitutional.
And just on that Tulsi here, this is Mike Preisner. He's married to Abby Martin. Yes, Abby Martin's husband. So he's got this on his Substack here. The title of his article is "Tulsi Fails Her Life's Biggest Moment." And yeah, that's kind of like a good summation of it. That is, if this was indeed, those were indeed her principles. And if those were indeed she had real anti-war principles and all this deep state, we shouldn't let the deep state run this and that. And that. I don't think she ever held those principles, because if she did, he wouldn't have written this article and this would have never happened. So you're talking about someone here who's very malleable. I spoke to someone that served with her, knew her pretty well. So I have to take this person's word for it in the U.S. Army. Okay. Multiple tours. Okay. And I think he's out now. He's with DOD now. He's a contractor, DOD contractor. And he said, he described her as ruthless in pursuit of career advancement. Ruthless was the term he used. Now, I know that's just one person. I've heard some similar things from different quarters, but you do get a feeling, though, of somebody that is real shapeshifter. To wiggle into the MAGA camp and become a Republican, like literally to go from being a Democrat and then on to Fox News. And after October 7th, you saw the venom come out. It was very ugly with her. Very anti-Palestinian, very anti-Muslim, anti-Arab. And it shocked me. It shocked me to see her on Sean Hannity. It was almost, pushing sectarian narratives. And I just thought, wow, the Israelis have got her 100%. Like they really got, so she's no different than anybody else on that network. But I was shocked because it was Tulsi Gabbard saying it. I thought she was somebody else. That's what was shocking. It wasn't particularly what she said on that network would bat an eyelid, but, sandwiched between her, Alan Dershowitz and Hannity, on some segment. It's like, whatever. But they really got an asset there. And I'll show you something else, you guys. This is also something not getting any coverage in America. Right? Freddie Ponton's on it. Let me see what Freddie's got here. Hold on. I think there is, let me go to Freddie's account, because he just posted something that is, of what's going on, basically. Here he is. That's our Freddie Ponton, journalist and researcher. Oh, okay, guys, look at this. Tel Aviv, following the United States airstrike. Look at that. So they're getting pounded. So what do you call this? I guess the gentrification of Tel Aviv. Property developers will be moving in soon to redevelop. Apparently, Iran unloaded on Israel after the strike. Have you heard any of this on the U.S. news?
No. No, they correct me if I'm wrong, but they've made footage like this. It's supposed to be outlawed, right? Like, so this is like smuggled footage, basically illegal footage, if you will.
Israel's outlawing it. You can get arrested, for sharing footage of missiles or damage in Tel Aviv. So, like, that's the only democracy in the Middle East. I mean, it's already a joke, but it's more like Zelensky style kind of government now. They're getting hammered. Absolutely hammered.
I've seen some crazy footage. I've been bookmarking all of the footage like this that I come across. Because I feel like, it's going to disappear into the feed otherwise. But there's a lot of it. There's plenty of it. And it's interesting to see the comments under it, too.
Wow. So maybe we could, the U.S. government can bail out Israel with another $100 billion. What do you think?
Hey, why not? That's our master anyway, right? At least financially and global policy wise. I mean, I'm not sure who's pulling the strings here, but who's pulling whose strings? But yeah, this country apparently is happy to dump trillions of their tax dollars into this country. I saw someone drop a bit of a black pill, Pat. I want to get your take on this. I don't remember who it was, but I saw someone throw out on X the concept that that the government and businesses in Israel are potentially taking this opportunity to destroy their own buildings so that they can collect on insurance. And this guy had a really detailed breakdown of why that might happen, and showed some of those insurance liabilities and kind of policies that would be involved. And it may just be too meta and too deep considering what's going on, but I had to, it made me take pause and set the phone down. I had to think about that for a minute.
Listen, the only people that would insure buildings in Israel are Israeli insurance firms, and I just can't see them wanting to pay out. Just call me, it's like,
especially at a time like this, they're going to have actual payouts to do.
I can just hear the conversations like, oh, come on, you're not gonna cover me. Oh, we can't. We're just overstretched. There's no way. It's not going to happen.
We just can't bomb your building.
Yeah, it's not a terrorist attack. It's you're not insured for state actor. This is a state actor. No, it's a terrorist attack. It says in my policy. No. This is the Iranian government. So it does. We're sorry. We can't cover you. Sorry. Oy vey, it says here on the on the policy paper, whatever. It would just be amazing to hear the infighting on that. But is that old saying, isn't it? What goes around comes around. So shouldn't be shocked.
Which is the other elephant in the room. You guys were quickly dismissing, well, we didn't need a false flag to get to this point, but that doesn't mean there's still not going to be a false flag coming as a result of what just happened, because they said, hey, if you do this, we're going to strike back. And we just saw some evidence of what the striking back looks like on that side of the world. And so whether or not they're going to do anything on this side of the world, as I intimated last week, doesn't matter. It's because, corrupt parts of our own secretive government or powers that be, they're going to do something. They're going to do the false flag because we want this to be a long, drawn-out engagement. They want to clamp down and take away our freedoms. They want more excuses to roll in with the technocracy crap. Tulsi, what party is she going to run for? Maybe she'll run for the transhumanist party, alongside J.D. Vance or something. Who knows?
Yeah. He put out a crazy statement. I'll bring that up in a moment. I mean, Vance. Checks in the mail, says John McGuire. He's talking about the insurance coverage. Good point. Ruckus says, Ben Howell, obviously endorsing your last statement there. Here we go. Ian says, so following the PNAC handbook, that's Project for a New American Century for all you newbies, can we please expect to move on to China before Trump's term finishes? Move on to China. So here we go.
Did you see him? Did you see him at that very same media talk on the tarmac that you were playing from earlier in that talk, when he was just bloviating? He said that he stopped. He's like, he had to go down the list of all the wars that he has stopped since he got here, and he's taking credit for stopping a war in Congo, stopping a war in Pakistan, India. He took credit for stopping 4 different wars that our media never talks about. Basically, Kosovo. He mentioned Kosovo. It's just all I just thought it was the hubris that he was spitting there, and it was just no context on how any of those things got started, or why there's still a problem, or what the U.S.'s involvement in any of that was, or what he means by he's made a deal with all 8 of these countries to stop 4 wars. It's just well, we're gonna bomb Iran tonight, but look at all these wars I've stopped.
Yeah, well, I've talked to the Rwandans and the Congos, and as you know, they've been fighting a long time.
Yeah,
a long time. But we've got a deal, and we're going to be doing trade, beautiful trade with the Congolese and the Rwandans. There's no genocide's going to happen there. So it's just stupid, isn't it? But here's Vance, you guys. This is one for the ages here. JD is not to be, let's see this comment here, jokers for you. How far they push is not predetermined. It's what they can get away with, says jokers for you. And what they get away with is based on resistance. That's a pretty logical take, actually. It's kind of like, in many ways, that's how it works. That's called manufacturing consent, you could say, as well.
There's very little resistance now. I think that's why there's an inversion between when a polarizing event, aka potentially a false flag, would happen before any sort of military action like this, right? But now we're in the post-truth world, and now there's no resistance. They watched the entire world pull their pants down and grab their ankles over their COVID scam. They've watched the whole world sit there and allow a genocide to go on for months and months and months, just a complete disaster. And now it's like, well, we can just shoot the missiles, and well, no, that's not going to polarize the public. Like, that would normally be something that would polarize the mainstream media to an extent, at least to a theatric extent, and would polarize people. But look, they just did it. They just did it. It's hardly polarizing anything. The only complaints are on X, and out here are people like us, whatever. So they're not going to get any fervor. They're not going to get any yes, cool, America, F yeah. They're not going to get that without the event that Sarah Adams, CIA stooge, is going around right now and promoting on all the big podcasts. So I think that's why we've got an inversion. Used to go false flag, then war. We're just going to go war, then false flag this time to try to garner some support for that 75 and above crowd and that 30 and below crowd, just the most malleable brained crowd that they can.
Yeah, let's say it's usually false. A good point, Hesher. It's usually false flag war. Let's mix it up a little bit. Let's go war and then false flag, and then maybe a few false flags. And let's do some different kind of sleeper cells. Charlie Kirk and who's DC Drano. Oh my gosh, DC Drano. I'll show him in a minute. But and what an apt name, Drano, for this this guy. But here's JD, not so advanced. That's what Photon here. Look, I'll bring this comment up, of course. I just queued that up. JD, not so advanced. Little play on words from Photon there. Well done.
We had when Ruckus had his graphic up earlier, we had a great one in the chat. I think it was from Summer. It said Lindsay Grandma.
Lindsay Grandma, yeah.
Lindsay Grandma.
Yeah, Lindsay is he's it's getting a lot of attention lately. Okay, here's JD Vance. So you guys, this is the vice president, all 42 years of him or whatever, how old he is. We're not at war with Iran. We're at war with Iran's nuclear program. Well, he's catching on, isn't he, with the newspeak, right? I mean, here we go.
Is the United States now at war with Iran?
No, Kristen, we're not at war with Iran. We're at war with Iran's nuclear program. And let me just say, Kristen, that we're incredibly grateful and proud of the American Air Force pilots who did an incredible job.
Just gaslighting straight off the bat. Like, straight to our men and women in uniform.
If some country bombed all of our nuclear facilities here, you guys, do you think we would consider ourselves at war? Like, I mean,
yeah, we'd be like, well, God, at least they're not at war with us. They're just at war with our civilian nuclear energy
the cans.
program.
He's mad at those cans. He's not mad at the cans. He's trying to shoot you. Remember that scene where the guy was trying to kill him and he was shooting the cans and he's like, the cans. It's all about the cans. Same kind of thing.
You guys, this is next level, sort of Soviet level, like propaganda. This is like a cult. They can't even answer a straight question. They give you an inverted answer. We're not at war with Iran. We're at war with so you threaten to kill their leadership. You've already killed some of their leaders, killed the negotiators you were negotiating with, and you bombed their civilian nuclear energy program while Israel bombed the oil refineries, so they have no energy. But you're not at war with Iran. You're at war with their nuclear program, and there's no weapons. That's an important detail, isn't it? That gets missed. A lot. Here's JD.
Last night. The operation was really extraordinary. These guys flew from Missouri. They didn't land a single time. They dropped 30,000-pound bombs on a target the size of a washing machine, and then got back home safely without ever landing in the Middle East or ever stopping other than to briefly refuel. And of course, they did that in the air. So it's really an incredible operation, a testament to the power of American military. And I think what shows what can happen.
It's illegal. It's illegal by U.S. constitutionally, international law, UN Charter. The United States is hemorrhaging credibility, and this is pretty much going to be the last nail in the coffin. Nobody, do you think the Russians are going to trust the Americans on Ukraine negotiations? Kiss that one goodbye.
Than when you have that great American military in the hands of capable presidential leadership. What we did is we destroyed the Iranian nuclear program. I think we set that program back substantially, and we did it without endangering the lives of the American pilots. That's an incredible thing, and I think we all should be proud.
So, listen, guys, they haven't destroyed their nuclear program. And why would you destroy their nuclear energy program when they don't have weapons? They just automatically make that jump to the accusation of WMDs. But even then, Iran produces all of their centrifuges domestically themselves. It's all Iranian tech. They have the plans already. They can just rebuild it. In fact, they're going to do it in secret now. And they have motivation to do it in secret because of this. Because of this. So how is J.D. Vance different than anybody in the Bush administration?
I can't figure it out. I can't figure that out. Doesn't seem like he is at all.
He wears more eye makeup.
Yeah, he's in HD. I mean, I don't know. He's in 4K. He's
yeah, he's got a better webcam. That's for sure. So
he said it was a 30,000 pound and the target was the size of a washing machine.
Are we supposed to be impressed?
That's overkill in my book.
Didn't the Iranian government come out and say like you only like damaged the entrance to this thing? It didn't even hurt it.
Yeah, and based on the munitions they used, there's no way that it could penetrate more than, I don't know, 20 meters at most. It damaged the entrance that was already hit by the Israelis. That's what I gathered from the post blast. But I guess JD has different information than I guess they just say they destroyed it, and that's good enough.
Well, sorry.
Has anyone added up the cost of this? I was just curious.
Yeah, those very expensive flight, very expensive crew, very expensive bomb. Think tens of millions of dollars at the least, maybe hundreds of millions of dollars probably when you get to all the people involved with planning and all that stuff. Hundreds of millions of dollars, I would guess, for that op. But Creative Accidents is reminding us in the Boiler Room Discord, who remembers Stuxnet? You know, if you remember Stuxnet, you know that Israel has an obsession with destroying Israeli civilian nuclear power infrastructure. This isn't a new thing with them to want to take this out.
Yeah, I'm going to show you guys a special one here. We've got Rick Grinnell. This guy's unbelievable. It's another one of like Trump's sort of stooges. This one was from Charlie Kirk, who I guess is the head of Turning Point USA. How much money do they get from the Israeli funding sources? Who knows? But he's basically putting out his false flag flyer, Charlie Kirk. Let me see if I can bring that one up. That was probably from earlier today. But so DC Drano and all these kind of the MAGA, I don't want to say magatards because that's a bit of a pejorative. But they're really pushing it. They're really pushing the stupid commentary, some of these guys. Oh, here we go. Here's Charlie Kirk. Not the brightest bulb in the box, but he thinks he's an absolute genius because he has a large social media following. I don't know if you guys notice this, but it's kind of a delusion these days that people think because they have more followers that they automatically what they say is more true. Did you notice that? I don't know.
Yeah, I also noticed a lot of followers that Kirk has disagree fervently with what he says in the comments under it.
Yeah, he's losing a lot of his own sort of room a little bit. But here's what Charlie Kirk said here. It says, in times like this, I find a lot of people say stuff and they'll end up regretting it. Hyper emotionality should be dismissed. Rejoicing because we dropped a bomb should be met with humility. Dooming should be met with cautionary optimism. The world is not over. Our best days are ahead, says Charlie Kirk. So this is more like a milquetoast, as I've said here, a sort of milquetoast. Then you've got the sort of DC Dranos of the world. And this is one of those kind of Trump court propagandists, social media influencer, millions of followers here, and I'm just really going to call it what it is, which is Magatard Central, helping to prepare gullible Americans for another false flag here. And DC Drano says, Iran may now activate violent sleeper cells in the U.S. Stay armed when you go out in public. Okay, stay armed when you go out in public, guys. Because of what we've done, Iran's going to activate all their sleeper cells, according to DC Drano. Defend the homeland, okay?
What does that mean?
What the F does this? How about this? Report things that seem unusually off. If you see something, say something. Remember Homeland Security back in 2002?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how have we not, like, evolved here, or like we're literally going back into the jungle now, right?
We've evolved into some sort of communist. That's a communist slogan. Defend the homeland. That's like straight Bolshevism.
So this is just knuckle dragging, like 2002 neocon speak here. So this guy is basically a primate. His name, I guess he's got a name.
How many likes and retweets?
Rogan O'Handley he's got a name. But he goes by DC Drano. Drano is that thing you pour down the toilet. Okay, that's what is. Am I wrong? That's what Drano is.
Unclog, pesky hairballs in the sink, or something like that.
Yeah, and he's followed by the FBI director Kash Patel.
Another sleazy feline, as Tucker would say.
Okay, so this is what he's saying, and what I love about this, and he thinks he's a journalist. Right, he was holding the Epstein folder. He was invited to the White House with libs of TikTok and Mike Cernovich. You remember that?
Oh yeah,
and Liz Wheeler. He was one of them. So here's his source. So he's a source. Look at this. So his source for Iranian sleeper cells that are about to be activated is this: News Nation. That's, if you guys don't know what News Nation is, if you get fired from CNN, this is where you go to work. News Nation. Okay? So the White House monitoring possible Iranian sleeper cells. Source. Okay? That's a good enough, quote, source for DC Drano. This is straight up propaganda. Straight up propaganda.
Yahoo.com nonetheless.
Yeah, no, it's even worse, it's News Nation syndicated.
News Nation / Yahoo. Oh my gosh!
That's
wow.
Chris
I like what our friend Pete Liquid said there. It must be a parody account with 2.2 million views.
Yeah, I wish that were true, Ruckus, but it is a type of a parody in a way. As the Iranian Supreme Leader threatens irreparable harm if the United States joins Israel's fight, the White House is warning of so-called Iranian sleeper cells. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Just ridiculous stuff. These people are pretty much, they'll believe anything that's spoon-fed to them that seems to fit their narrative, whatever that is. It's a little bit of a problem that we see quite often, don't we, in that realm. So that's there's another one I was going to show you guys, but I'll leave that there. Sleeper, that's a pretty good one. Sleeper cells.
And let's not forget, I know we talked about this before, so I'll be brief, but he's on that list of people that get paid by management companies like Influenceable. I'm pretty sure he was one of the ones that was on that list, or if he's not on that list, he's probably working with another company like it. A lot of these people get a base pay and get $1,000 every time they post one of these things, depending or more, depending on, you know, how many followers they have. So, you know, they don't even write these things themselves. Oftentimes you can look at, you know, Cat Turd and a bunch of other people, and a lot of people have pointed this out many times. They'll all have virtually the same exact you know, post that they put up at the same time, and they have timelines for them, you know, all that. It's a deliverable from someone that's paying you in many cases. I don't know that that's the case with him particular with Influenceable. I think somebody has maybe proven that. I don't know. Do your own research on that. But these companies are out there. They're doing these things, and a lot of these accounts that get the mega boosts like that one are working with companies like that. And then you can easily look at the boards on those companies and see, you know, there's people from various places and various other businesses that you will find familiar.
Yeah, Tulsi has always been an Islamophobe. Many have said. Let me see what else we've got here from our comments from our viewers. Here we go. Yes, Tulsi is an opportunist. She seems to have values, but they never make it through the true barrier. Okay, interesting. I think I know what you mean. And this is a complimentary tweet here from John Hurley. Love listening to the crew, but does anyone know what happened to Basil Valentine? An avid UK listener asking. Yeah, Basil's still around. You know, this is obviously festival season in the UK, and Basil has a very intense summer season social schedule. He's in high demand at a lot of events. He is very popular, as you can imagine. So we are trying to get him on the program. I think he'll hopefully be joining us one of these, either on the midweek or the next Sunday Wire. But yeah, Basil's... he's around. Don't worry. Basil has not gone anywhere. And here we go. Speaking of Shmuley, I suppose Mossad have pics of Tulsi. Well, it's funny you say that, actually. There are rumors. We'll just leave it at that. But we all know what the currency of Washington, D.C. is. And yeah, a lot of people are disappointed, like ZP Zap. I trusted Tulsi around 2016 when she told the truth about Syria. So did I.
Yep.
So all of us did. We were big fans.
And she just recently had that heartwarming thing about the bomb being dropped on Hiroshima. What was that all about? Just for show, I guess?
Well, yeah, Ruckus, and that's a good question. You know, we talked about that in the midweek with Freddie and Arno, and that was put out on June 10th. The anniversary is in August, so clearly that was produced and maybe released early. It's a kind of a good cop, bad cop thing. You know, it's like she's anti-nuclear, Trump's pro. You know, it may be in advance of a potential use of a nuclear weapon on Iran. If there was a major controversy with that, she would automatically be positioned as the dove. Trump is the hawk. So creating contrast. That's the only way I was like looking at how and why that was released, because it didn't make any sense for a director of national intelligence to put out a political message. To me, it's very unprofessional. Just for putting that out, you should like leave the job. I don't want my DNI, even though I agree with her activist message, I agree with it. I don't think it's appropriate for a DNI to be pushing that stuff out. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on
that's strike
on
two,
that.
Tulsi.
Yeah, here we go. Look at this. As a politician, Tulsi kind of reminds me of Erdogan. Oof, that is harsh. Always playing both sides of the fence. Wow, I've never heard anybody compare Erdogan to an American politician. That is harsh.
Burn.
Damn. The whirling dervish himself, Tayyip Erdogan. I mean,
you hear that, Tulsi?
Whoa. I mean, that's some serious, you're evoking some serious energy there, guys. Well done. Arcane Eclectic. Well done. Never trusted Tulsi. Always wondered why folks were so enamored with her and had pinned so much high hopes on her. Well, you know, I spoke to Danny Haifong last night, and he's always been skeptical of her and others, like Samira Khan and some of these other people online. They've always basically been skeptical of Tulsi. I'm more of an optimist, so I try to encourage behavior I like in the hopes that I'll get more of it. You know what I mean? But I'm a little bit naive in that respect. But hey, oh my gosh, this is they're talking about must be Pompeo here. He snorts Ozempic. Wow. Yep.
You guys are brutal.
I know there are some brutal comments in here. I mean, really based. It's getting more based by the day.
Yeah.
I think it's just a reaction to things that are going on here. Look at this. Oh, what are they saying? Evening, Ruckus, Patrick, Hesher, and Mr. Taff. And one and all in the chat, Mr. Taff. Oh, Mr. Taff in the chat. Yes, I see. So more recently, coming in to our comment feeds here. I mean, we just got a surge of like 300 comments while we were just talking there. So they're coming in fast and furious here. And here we go. Some Nostradamus action. Micropsycho. What we are seeing on the geopolitical stage is a grumbling black swan. Oof. That will run and run into 2027, all timed to move markets with precision to accumulate the 200-year-old Rothschild playbook. You're not far wrong there, my friend, Mr. Micropsycho. You're not far wrong. Because Trump, according to Hirsch, Trump wanted to do the strike on the weekend on Saturday, so there's not to rattle the markets on Monday, to allow it to not to overheat on Monday, with to cool off on Sunday, i.e. today, and digest it in the news cycle and stuff like that. I mean, that's very cynical, isn't it? But that's where we're at. I mean, that's not really, doesn't make you feel very good about the society and the civilization when war is like something to do on the weekends before the market opens on Monday.
Well, it sure had its way with the cryptocurrency markets, though, because those are always open, and they felt it. It's interesting that Micropsycho is using some of the same strategy that Donald Trump uses by focusing on just using all caps on certain words.
Yeah. Arcane Eclectic says, OMG, Patrick Henningsen mentioned my comment. I'm honored. Thank you. Well, we appreciate your intelligent commentary. Give us great comments, and we will do our best to put them up on screen. We like to recognize quality feedback from our audience. Here we go. Ooh, this is just too racy. I can't put that on the screen there. There's a Tulsi one here. This is, I don't know about that. I sort of want to screenshot that and send that to you guys offline because it's pretty crazy. I will screenshot this and I'll share it with you guys later. I cannot put this on screen though. It is just too racy. It's a Tulsi comment.
Too hot for TV.
It's way too hot for TV. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Is Genocide Barbie still in the hospital? Who is Genocide Barbie? Is that Laura Loomer?
It might be. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure.
The DHS Barbie had a medical thing.
Kristi Noem?
Oh yeah, that one. Okay, Genocide. I got you.
Yeah. Okay, now I recall.
I got you.
They usually call her Ice Barbie, but I see what they did there.
Wait, why was she in the hospital? I feel like I got a blip and I don't remember what it was.
It's probably the next pandemic.
I think she had an allergic reaction to something, probably OD'd on something or rather. Too many tranquilizers with the scotch. Who knows?
Right. Well, Bear in our boiler room chat says, breaking, John Bolton hospitalized with 5-hour erection after hearing about war with Iran.
Yeah, that's right. So true, actually. I can corroborate that. I've seen that on other news other reputable news outlets have published that. So I think it's true. We think it's true. John Bolton was very, very excited. There's a lot of them. They can't believe their luck. Lindsey Graham went into a 24-hour orgasm, and he's currently under supervision at the moment. Still shaking. The aftershocks, still feeling the aftershocks. He just couldn't. He was running around his hometown in South Carolina naked through the streets for literally 24 hours after Trump launched the strike, and his Secret Service team had to basically tried to get a hold of him, but they couldn't actually catch him because he was covered in baby oil. But anyway, we're not going to bring Diddy into this. Okay, here we go. And that was again, that's adult, and this is not a family show right now. Okay, here we go. Yes, I predict that an Iranian sleeper cell is going to spread enriched uranium in Texas. It's a false flag. Cluedo. So Texas is. I hear a lot of this dropping names of Texas cities like Houston. There's Muslims there. Dallas, too many Muslims. So like they're going to go for. Are they going to go for Texas? Is that?
I think they were going to, but now that the vice president has gone on Meet the Press and said where the bombers flew out of, I think Missouri might be. The vice president may have put a target on the back of Missouri in that statement.
Ooh, yeah, that's yeah, yeah. The show me state, show me the money. Here we go. Is something going on with the gray streak in the hair? He's talking about Tulsi, right? That's what they're talking about. Corella DeVille.
I would have loved to. I keep imagining this PR group that makes her. I would love to have been a fly on the wall in the meeting where they decided, yes, we're going to go with the Cruella streak. I mean, I would love to hear the psychology behind that.
I think she's going for the Indira Gandhi look. That was she had the kind of white streaks. I think it's something like that. Normally, that's something you'd want to level out in politics because it does have sinister connotations to it. Maybe that's what she wants. Maybe there's some messaging going on there. A few John Bolton jokes coming into our feed right now. Here we go. Yes, indeed. The walrus surfaces from the swamp. Indeed. The world's most dangerous walrus is John Bolton, believe it or not.
Shoot.
Yeah. ZP says, I can't believe we are enslaved by these clowns. Neither can I.
Yeah.
Neither can I. I can't believe Donald Trump. Oof. I did an AI project for Trump and BB. Grok did such a good job on it, but I can't publish it because it hits too hard. It hits too hard. Let's just say Trump got a delivery from BB. And the delivery was, let's just say, goalkeeping equipment, Israeli themed.
I'll check this one out that Ruckus made for our previous boiler room.
Okay. Ooh, yep. There it is. Yeah, they're getting off. They're getting off. BB's he's pretty cocky right now, but at the same time, Tel Aviv is getting trashed. So, property values are kind of dropping right now in Israel. It's a good time to buy.
Sounds like only priority airlifts out now, too. I don't think normal flights are happening, right? It's just U.S. government and others coming in and doing I don't know how they lottery that out. Who gets on the flights?
So, here we go. Peter Scheck says USS Nimitz, RAP. Yeah, they pushed that big hunk of garbage right off the coast of Israel. I can't imagine why they would do something like that. And it turns out Larry Silverstein's put an insurance policy. He's bought it and got it insured just in time for the conflict, him and Frank Lowy. So, it's insured for 2 separate missile attacks, just so you know, double payout.
And it's slated for decommission in just a matter of months, too.
Indeed. Oh, yes, here we go. Ian Taff. They'll leave the uranium in the Texas school book depository. You bet. See how far ahead of the curve our listeners are, our viewers? I mean, so far ahead of the curve.
There was a second batch of enriched uranium on the grassy knoll.
Yeah. Yep, here we go. Oh, gosh, there's another Tulsi. She always reminds me of a skunk with that white suit. Oh, yeah, Pepe Le Pew. Yeah, Pepe Le Pew's girlfriend. Remember that?
Right, right.
I mean, I didn't say it. They've said it. Tulsi added 2 more white streaks.
Pepe Le Pew's been canceled. He was canceled during the culture war, didn't you know?
Yeah, he was too misogynistic, wasn't he?
Yeah.
The French
catcalling. Too much cat. You can't catcall anymore. You can't tell a woman you don't know.
That philandering little French skunk.
Yeah.
He trained so many. Okay, here we go. I'm getting pushback. I'm getting pushback. Oh my gosh, witches and secret societies. Oh, we're not going to go there. We don't want to go down that. Here we go. USS Nimitz equals USS Liberty 2.0. Yeah, Mark Anderson did a good interview with Phil Turney on UK Column recently. It's actually really good. And I learned something that I didn't know before, that the United States already had scrambled jets to bomb Egypt. They were already in the air. Yep. LBJ was going to get us into World War III. That was going to happen. And it turned out the Soviets broke it up. The Russians intercepted the comms and kind of blew the whistle on the whole thing and had to be cooled down real quick. Otherwise, they would have got away with it. Isn't that? Thank the Russians. They're not the bad guys.
Yeah, there you go. Love the avatar there, Arcane, Eclectic, and Absu.
Yeah, very good, very clever. Perhaps they'll hit us with Novichok in perfume bottles. Yes, it does happen from time to time. Pepe Le Pew's getting some recognition here. Pepe Le Pew's girlfriend was a black cat with a white paint streak on her back. Yes.
That's right.
That's right. Like a badger. Yep. You see? Okay, here we go. We'll just wrap. And yes, I fully agree with this. John McGuire, LBJ, used to be the worst POTUS ever. Do you see what he said there very subtly? Do you see that?
You should have capitalized worst.
It used to be. Used to be. Yeah. And he's not now. So he's inferring that there's another worst president ever. Am I right or am I wrong? John McGuire, let us know. Am I correct? Are you inferring that the current POTUS is now the worst ever? Is that what you're saying there, John? Drop that in the comment.
You must have missed the last one, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, no, he's saying many presidents. Yeah, okay, fair play. Fair play.
Yeah, he's down the list at this point.
Fair play. I'll end with this, and this was my. I'll show you my. This was my opening gambit on today. I'll bring this up on screen here. Yeah, I'm sure you guys will appreciate this. Great moves, great dance moves. Ruckus, didn't you say you wanted to see the dancing Trump come back again?
It'd be nice, yes.
Yeah, we can arrange that. We can arrange that. Trump was the man about town. Let's bring him up. Give Donald. There he is.
Oh, it's my favorite Trump dance.
This is 1992. What's up with the eyebrows? What's going on with those eyebrows? Have you ever seen eyebrows like that?
That's some like crazy caterpillars going up there.
And the hair is, I don't know what to make of it. It's, anyway, how we got here. That's my headline. So here we are, folks. Take a look. How we got here. History may look back and say, this is where World War III, the first phase of World War III. How do you capture a president? Well, sort of like this. So you guys, it's Bill Clinton was tied up with this guy, right? Trump's tied up with this guy. Bunch of other governors, heads of intelligence, Bill Gates, you name it, all tied up with this guy, Jeff Epstein.
Banking elites, real estate elites, foreign intelligence, daughters of foreign intelligence people. I mean, the list is very long, isn't it?
Yep, indeed it is. Indeed it is. Yep, he's saying hide your kids, you betcha. That's right, definitely around these guys. Yeah,
1992 again, by the way.
Yeah, something about that year. Something about that year. Get your numerology on, folks. Yes. Will my Trump coin appreciate? Someone's saying. Yeah, it's like, oh, here we go. This is what I was waiting for, guys. Mad Lad. Best QAnon cope. He's saving Israel for last. Oh, that's the best cope. That is some top cope right there. Mad Lad gets the award.
You too can be in the QAnon crowd.
I'm sorry for everybody that has made some great comments today, but we're gonna have to give the award. The major award goes to Mad Lad. That is the best Q. He's saving Israel for last. That is so Q. That is so Q. Wow, amazing.
John Bolton's mustache is not amused.
That's about as good of a note to end on as anybody. Yeah, Mad Lad, you fucking came in there at the end and snatched it. You snatched the prize, mate. Amazing. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done to the Mad Lad. Well done to everybody. There's just too many good comments in here to even mention. I mean, amazing. Absolutely amazing. Thank you, everybody in the comments section. And any final words? We'll go around the horn to our esteemed colleagues, Mr. Bryan McClain, also known as Hesher.
Yeah, check out the other night's Boiler Room. We had a pretty good time there, considering all that's going on. We ripped on the new Trump phone a little bit. Apparently, he thinks that now would be a good time for his two sons to grift Americans into think they're buying some sort of phone that is not a piece of cheap Chinese crap. It's built in America, not manufactured in America. So that means they bought it from China for $100. They paint it gold. They put a Trump logo on it. They charge you $400 for it, $500, $600 for it, whatever.
Ooh.
And that was fun. We had a lot of fun over there in the Boiler Room. Talked about a lot of stuff. So recommend you go check that out. It's last Thursday night show. It's up on Rumble and on YouTube, and there'll be a show post up at alternatecurrentradio.com for it very soon. I want to give just a brief shout out to all my colleagues here at Alternate Current Radio. We had an all hands meeting yesterday. Sorry you weren't able to make it, Patrick, but it was really cool. So do us a favor, go to the website, check out the Daily Ruckus, check out the Mystical American Patriot Society, check out the Odd Man Out podcast, Sunday Wire, Boiler Room, all the good stuff we got going over there. And we had a great meeting. So it was just want to give a shout out to everybody on the team over there, yourself included too, Pat. Sorry you weren't able to join us, but Thursday nights, Boiler Room, that's where you find us. We do need your support. We have support links up at alternatecurrentradio.com and 21 Wire as well. So you can support us both independently. We appreciate that if you can. And if you can't, hey, share our stuff around. We're definitely dealing with some algorithmic issues. So the more of you that comment and share, the more that helps us out. We really, really appreciate it. We're trying to build up towards a in-person meetup this year. So both ACR and 21 Wire need your support in making that happen. We also have a lot of reporting work on the 21 Wire side that goes on in the background. And that is viewer and listener supported. And also Patrick launched a Substack. I don't know if that's public yet or not, but I'm going to go ahead.
It's public. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I wanted to promote that real quick for you. I want everybody to go to Substack and subscribe to Patrick's new Substack. That's going to help out too in the long run.
Yeah, just say Patrick Henningsen. Just put that in the search bar at Substack. And by the way, we do commission some really good original reporting, and we actually had somebody on the ground at Bilderberg this year. And if you want a good wrap up of Bilderberg, including pictures of all of your favorite globalists, right here, folks, review of Bilderberg 2025 AI drones, technocracy, and the transatlantic alliance. That's up at 21stcenturywire.com. That's Peter Thiel right there, literally an arch technocrat, a globalist, complete with the fascist haircut. This is a great piece by Hannah Borno here. Also, we linked to Charlie Skelton's piece in The Guardian, which is amazing. But look at this. We got the Greek prime minister. We got the head of MI6, John Sars. Got Google DeepMind, Spotify. We've got here strategic planning, Kevin Harrington here, National Security Council. He's also managing director of Thiel Macro LLC, one of Peter Thiel's guys. Microsoft, Mustafa Suleiman. Again, AI, Alex
Karp. I see Alex Karp right there. We spent a substantial amount of time on Boiler Room talking about him. He's the CEO at Palantir right there. Palantir, who was one of the many sponsors for the Army parade that was much interesting to watch.
So do you guys know who this is wearing the Lindsey Graham vest and the pretty white shoes? Do you know who that is?
Remind me. He looks familiar.
That's the former CEO of Google.
Ah, okay. Eric
Schmidt.
Yes.
He's still there at Bilderberg. And what else we got here? This Carl Bildt. He's a hardcore globalist. And wow, the power couple right there, Ann Applebaum and Radoslaw Sikorski from Poland, the chief Russophobes and cheerleaders of the Ukraine war right there. Russiagate, Ann Applebaum. She's one of the main drivers of Russiagate, if you remember. So they're at Bilderberg. So yeah, it's all about war, autonomous drones, and AI. That's it. And they're all making tons of money off it. So, that's up at 21stcenturywire.com, folks. So this is a great piece by Hannah. We're proud to publish it. We appreciate her work on this as well. But it's a great wrap-up piece. If you want to know basically a good snapshot of Bilderberg, it's here. And her and Charlie Skelton, their coverage year in, year out has just been so consistent. Dan Dix is good at doing the doorstep videos. He's really good with the camera, chasing Peter Thiel. It was epic. Dan Dix from Canada chasing Peter Thiel all over the place. And that was great to see Peter just very uncomfortable with that type of attention.
Yeah.
He just kind of wants to be seen as a good guy. And but Hannah and Charlie Skelton, Hannah Borno, great team. Their coverage has been great. It's these types of journalists where you can understand what Bilderberg is actually doing. And they're great journalists. So yeah, that's up on our website, folks, right there at 21st Century Wire. So, yep. Ruckus, take us away.
Yeah, of course, Hesher mentioned alternatecurrentradio.com, and he mentioned the Daily Ruckus. Not doing a lot of Daily Ruckus lately, unfortunately, but if you do go to the website, you will find what I have been doing lately, which is, I'm calling it Roundabout Ruckus, mostly my recent appearances on Weaponized News with Sam Chaney, which is every Mondays. So after I do that, I'll post it up on the website. Of course, that's where we post everything, including the Midweek Wire, in case y'all are wondering. There's one extra spot you can find it. Of course, Mystical American Patriot Society, as Hesher mentioned. And I know somewhere on here, of course, you will find Sunday Wire. And our good friend there is the Odd Man Out podcast. That right there is a combination of a donkey and an elephant, by the way, which represents the current political party that's running the show. On the other side, of course, is an Israeli flag. Anyways, thanks for having me. It's been a blast. We got to do a little dark humor whenever we can, and we're going to go crazy, especially since the world has quite literally been plunged all against our wills without a congressional approval. I will remind everyone once again into World War III, war with Iran, and all that fun stuff. So hold on to your butts, everybody. Keep your head on a swivel. You should be walking around in America armed, but not because of Hamas or Iran or anything silly like that, but because there's bad people in the world, and you should be able to protect you, yourself, your friends, and your family. Just ask Hesher and myself. We don't need the threat from Iran to walk around armed in the state of Texas to keep safe. Thanks for having me again. May God bless each and every one of you, and may God save this planet.
Yes, indeed. Yes, our prayers go out to everybody, especially in the Middle East that are underneath the bombs. We hope that those bombs miss you and do not connect, and we're praying for that. And also, we're praying for sanity to somehow reoccupy the White House and reoccupy American politics, because many of us are not happy with the direction things are going right now at this present time. So we're hoping the other sane leaders speak up, Republicans or Democrats. You've all been coward, and I hear nothing. And it's just really incredible. It's really incredible. Besides Thomas Massey and some other great American representatives in Congress, there's a few of them co-sponsoring Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna's bill for congressional vote on the war powers. And so we applaud that type of thing. And they have way more support bipartisan-wise than anybody did for anything like this before 2003, before the Iraq War. So I am positive that a lot of people are awake on this issue, even though it looks really bad on the surface. A lot of people are awake, a lot. So this is where I think different class of awareness now in 2025, and hopefully that's going to slow the progress of these goblins. They're turning into goblins. It always happens, doesn't it? You spend too much time in the swamp and you acclimatize. How else can we just describe the phenomenon? I can't. So that's it. Guys, awesome. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate your commentary and weighing in on this very, very, very important issue and very important point in history. And again, tune into Alternate Current Radio, Boiler Room, Daily Ruckus, various other great podcasts and content there. Great team, great people, great community. Support them at every opportunity, folks. So thank you guys. All the best. We're going to be signing off now in a moment. Again, Sunday Wire, we've got the whole archive here. Just go to 21stcenturywire.com. That's our weekly show, Midweek Wire, usually on Wednesday. Obviously, we sometimes have delays because of news and tech, but usually on Wednesday, usually the same time as you see here on screen as a Sunday Wire. And also, we need your help. Support us. We've got so much stuff we're putting out in terms of content, journalism, shows, live streams, all this other stuff. We're running, I don't know, at least 4 social media platforms and about 5 video sharing platforms in addition to 21st Century Wire. Donate, support, better yet, subscribe and become a member for just around $5 a month. You can subscribe and become a member at 21wire.tv. That's one way you can pledge your support month in, month out. We appreciate all of you guys. Important times. We've been here since 2009. That should tell you that we are serious about this. We are not a fly-by-night organization in terms of independent media, and we've been around the block a few times. We've seen it all happen more than once. That's why our commentary is usually on point. I'm not just saying that, it's true, and a lot of you are here because of that, and we appreciate your listenership and your viewership as well. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for your support. We really appreciate it. That's all we've got time for today. I'm Patrick Henningsen, your host. It's been great. Appreciate you guys tuning in on the live stream. Got great numbers on X, over 3,000 people on our live stream just on X alone, and a couple thousand on Rumble and YouTube as well. So yeah, great to see the new audience coming in as well, and I appreciate that. I'll tell you more about the Substack, but you can go to Substack, Patrick Henningsen, jump in there, and there'll be more posts there. Different content than on 21 Wires. Just be a different content stream there, but there's stuff that we can't do on our website that maybe is more appropriate, more personal on Substack. So check us out there. You'll be hearing more about that as we go. That's all we got time for. We'll leave you with the music of, well, it's a good time. It's a good time to listen to Joseph Arthur, and what a great song he wrote right after October 7th. Take care, you guys. All the best.
Sides when their mothers cry, and no real way to justify their death that comes from an evil sky. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now in Gaza somehow. Damaged like a nuclear their supply. The propaganda leads to dehumanize our fellow humans and silence their cries. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now in Gaza somehow. Without equality, there will always be war. We have all the history to see how it's happened before. Travel as equals, equality for all, or else mankind will surely fall. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now in Gaza somehow. Cause this might be the last time to raise a hand about who we are. What's this say about who we are?